Hello, good evening, everyone. Hope you can hear me loud and clear. This is Caroline. I'm your host as always, and I'm very happy to be back here with all of you. And also, we have a special guest with us tonight, Amy. Hello, how are you feeling tonight?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me here to talk about this topic with you all. It's nice to be able to share this with you all. It's good.
We are definitely very, very excited to have you as our guest speaker tonight. This is a topic we've never done before, so I am even more eager to listen to what you will say to us about yoga. And of course, you will be able to share some, I'm sure, some tips for all of us. So huge thanks for joining us, that's for sure. And before we will start with Amy's presentation, let me just say a few things. So Amy McKeown, she is actually a yoga and a wellness coach, the founder of Kukoon Wellness, and she definitely has some experience when it comes to fertility yoga, and she will be able to, as I mentioned, give you some tips on how to perhaps prepare, how to prepare for pregnancy, but also maybe you are able to do it throughout your pregnancy. So I will leave it to definitely to Amy. I'm not all that familiar with it, but she is definitely someone that will be able to tell you a lot, lots and lots about this. So very, very excited to have you for sure. And as always, remember, you will have a chance to ask your questions. You can do it through the presentation or afterwards, and Amy will be happy to help you out, I'm sure, here as well. And as always, remember that my IVF we are part of European Fertility Society, and we are here every single day, as you know, from Monday till Friday, as we definitely want to encourage you to exercise, but also try something new. We want to give you an option to ask your questions and just find out the answers from top fertility experts, but also coaches and, for example, yoga teachers as today. So we are very proud to be able to do that and help you out as much as we can. All right, and that will be it actually from me. Amy, are you ready to start off with your presentation? And yeah, let's go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
Perfect.
So,
Go ahead.
so let's have a little introduction about myself, really. I have been a yoga teacher for many years now, and I've built Kukoon Wellness around my yoga, and then I've started to specialize in fertility yoga, and with that comes a lot of one-to-one classes. I hold group classes every single week, where it's a really nice opportunity for couples, men and women separately, to come along who are going through their fertility journey, wherever stage that is. And it's quite a nice environment for them to get together and share their own stories. It's nice to have a community. But through Kukoon, I've built up a lot of one-to-ones, because it just means that I can tailor to your needs quite specifically. And as we go through today's presentation, you'll sort of see why, because different parts of your journey will sort of elicit different types of yoga and different practices. And there's things you should be practicing, things you shouldn't be practicing at different times through different cycles, whether it's IVF, whether you're just trying naturally at the moment, whether you're already going through your IVF treatment. And it's just a nice time to start with yoga, because yoga is really, really good for the mind as well as for your body. And there's quite a lot of research now. It's quite a hot topic. It's quite new. There's a lot of research underway that sort of just highlights how yoga is helping with fertility and helping with conception, just because it helps reduce the stress and anxiety. And so we'll talk about different poses you can look at, different studies that show the benefits of yoga, and maybe we can talk through how important the breathing techniques are and things like that. So we'll get talking. I'll talk you through all of that, and then maybe at the end, if you've got any specific questions around where you are in your fertility cycle, where you are maybe in your IVF, and if you already do yoga and how it feels for you. And also, if you do get pregnant, yoga is a beautiful thing to have alongside your pregnancy. And we often don't recommend, if you've never done yoga before, once you're pregnant, we wouldn't recommend you start. So if you start during your fertility journey, it's quite a nice opportunity to then be able to continue it because your body's strong enough, it knows the positions, and then you can just continue healthy and safely that way. So I just really wanted to start with a nice mindfulness exercise just to sort of clear your mind and get you focused, because yoga is very, very much about being present, staying focused, and just understanding and feeling your body. So if you feel like it, I'm going to invite you to just close your eyes and just imagine that you're standing, looking out to the beautiful ocean. You're standing on the shoreline and the waves are just gently meeting your toes. You just feel them as the waves come in. You can just gracefully see them coming to the shore and then back out to the ocean. So first of all, I just want you to observe the waves. Clearing your mind, just maybe focusing on how that feels, the sounds of the seas, just staying nice and present with them waves. And I want you to link this nice calm flow with your breath. So as you inhale, I want you to start to imagine the waves drawing in, just gracing your toes. And then as you exhale, allow the waves to just retreat away from you. And just build this with your breath. Staying fully in control, fully present. And I want you to start to just lengthen your breath. And as you lengthen your breath, notice the waves start to get longer. They're still nice and gentle. And with each inhale and each wave that comes in towards your toes, I want you to feel calmness, some happiness, relaxation, and maybe any other positive affirmation or emotion that you feel like you need to come to you. And each inhale just brings that in towards you and up through your body. And then as you exhale, I want you to allow any negative thoughts, any feelings, any stresses that you've got from your day, any anxieties, and just feel them leave your body through your toes and just drift away as the waves leave. Just watching them waves carrying out to the ocean, taking your stresses as far away from you as possible. I just want you to keep going with this for a few more deep breaths, so really staying focused. And just noticing if there's more that you need to be bringing into your life, more happiness, more relaxation. And just let that come naturally. And I want you to just gently start to ease your breath back to maybe a normal, more relaxed rhythm. With that last exhale, just letting go of all that last bit of stress or anything that's not really serving you in a positive way, just let it go. And then let's just gently open our eyes. And I want you to just focus on how that's made you feel. Quite often we do this in the yoga class, at the start of a yoga class, just to bring our attention into our bodies. And we'd probably do it for a lot longer and give you a little bit more time to really sort of channel your energy and your mindset into yourself. But it's a really nice way to sort of feel that sensation of calmness. And that's really at the heart of yoga. It's really good to sort of give you that mindset that you need for yoga, for your strength, for your wellness. And I think that's something that is beneficial during your fertility journey. And we really, really focus on that during our one-to-one sessions, because I know that in your life, day to day, it's stressful enough, and we rarely make time for ourselves. So just having that focus is quite important. So from there, I just wanted to sort of say that that's really what yoga is about. It's not just about your physical well-being. Obviously, it's about building your strength, and it's about building some flexibility, keeping us fit and healthy, but it's also very, very much about your mindset. It's very much about being present. You'll hear the word stay present in your yoga practice a lot. And as I said, with your day-to-day stresses that you have going on, it can be quite difficult to find the time to do that. So by bringing yoga into your life, it can really help you to channel into that. So now thinking about how our mind is so all over the place a lot of the time. For all of us, we definitely live in that sort of society. If it becomes unbalanced, it unbalances our body. So our mental well-being and our physical well-being are very much interlinked, and we very much incorporate that into our yoga practice. And you just want to sort of feel that you can balance it out, rechannel it, and find that nice harmony between it, because I'm sure we all know that if you feel stressed, your body can get really uptight and tense. So yoga is definitely for everybody. It's for men, women, younger people, older people. Doesn't matter if you're overweight, doesn't matter if you're super fit. And it really doesn't matter how flexible you are. Anyone can do yoga. You just need to start and build it up slowly at your own pace. And I think there's a lot of stigma attached to you have to be quite fit, you have to be quite slim and healthy to do yoga, whereas actually yoga is beneficial for absolutely anybody at all. And it's all about calming your mind and strengthening your body, but at the same time it's about strengthening your mind and calming your body. It's very much a moving meditation to help clear your mind, stay focused. We incorporate breathing exercise into our practice, and it's very much about moving with your breath. So that keeps you very present. It means that you can only focus on you. I often say in my one-to-one classes or my group classes, you are in this little bubble on your yoga mat, and that could be with you on your own. It could be you with your partner. I've had it where I've had surrogates there as well. So it's just about having your own energy and feeling the room and not exploring everything else that's going on in your day. So it really is about knowing what you can hold on to, what's going to serve you well, what you can sort of let go of, noticing what you can control and what you can't control, and what deserves your energy and probably what doesn't deserve your energy. So sort of the stress of your day, you sometimes can't control something that's happened for you, or if you've got maybe a certain treatment coming up the next day, you'll feel extra anxious, extra stressed. And sometimes just sitting down to practice some yoga can really ease that for you. And yoga can look different. So it doesn't have to be really fast paced. It doesn't have to be hot yoga that we see everywhere. It doesn't have to be rocket yoga. It can be a simple meditation, sitting down, tuning into yourself, taking that breathing exercise we've done. It can be a nice gentle yoga, a yin yoga. So they're all very different. And I think as you go through this webinar, you'll sort of see what's best at what time in your cycle and everything like that. But also yoga is very much about listening to your body and how you feel, knowing your energy and moving to what works for you. There's no real right or wrong in that sense. You know your body better than anyone. So if you feel energetic and you can do a strong class, then try one. If you feel that you maybe just want to relax and unwind and just be calm in your practice, then there's always that option as well. And I think what's good, if you find a fertility yoga sort of expert like myself, regardless of whether it's one-to-one or group classes, we can have them conversations. We can work out what's best for you, what type of class you should be doing. And quite often you'll find that I've definitely noticed that there's an energy within people naturally that say, actually, I feel a bit tired this week. So do I, so do I. So then we just channel in the sort of classes that we do. And if I have a one-to-one class with you, it's quite good because you're able to then explore it in that moment. So I could turn up to you. Before lockdown, I'd go around people's houses, they'd come to my studio. Now we just obviously use Zoom and things like this. But you can say to me, okay, I haven't slept well. I've been really anxious about my treatment coming up, or I'm at a certain point in my cycle where I feel a bit lethargic and my partner's joining. Can we just slow the class down today? Or you can go, I feel great. So we can pick up the pace. And I think that's what's beautiful with yoga. It's very much tailored around you. It's not the teacher. It's not about yoga as such. It's about you, your mental head like space, and how we can apply that for you. So thinking about like how emotion impacts our body, this is where yoga can be really important. So I think a lot of times I get people say to me, I don't feel very stressed. I feel okay, but like my doctor or my clinician has said I seem stressed out. And I think a lot of the time we think we're good at hiding our emotions, and actually we're just ignoring them. But the fact is that our body absorbs that, and what we don't release, it just comes through as tension and stress and tightness in our body. And that can be represented as physical pain. And sometimes the tension will, like a lot of my clients I find say that they're suffering with their shoulder, like shoulder pain, like tension in their shoulders, but a lot of the time it actually comes from their lower back. And we find that a lot of females particularly hold tension in their pelvis. A lot of emotion is held there, and men hold a lot of stress in their hips. So a lot of the time this tension just builds up, and it's actually working its way up your body, and it's your body saying, I'm stressed, and often your head is the last place to actually acknowledge that, when you actually start having maybe a little meltdown or maybe some breathing problems. And it's important that we notice this in our body, and through our yoga classes we very much have that awareness. So we'll sit in our class, and one of the first things I'll say to you is, do a body scan, notice where you feel maybe a bit of tension. You could sit here right now doing that, thinking, okay, so my legs feel tight, they feel achy, I've been on my legs a lot. And that's obviously where you're holding that stress. So with our yoga, it's just about releasing that out, getting rid of all that negative energy that we hold on to, as well as having to deal with daily stresses or the stresses that you're going through. So I find a lot of men have tight hips. If they sit cross-legged, their knees will be sat like quite high up, because they've got a lot of stress and tension there. A lot of times you just need to use our breath, use our practice to unwind, and you'll find that at least within a half an hour class, you'll start to be able to soften through, releasing out the tensions that you're holding on to, and just notice for yourself, maybe observing your thoughts as to what you need to be managing and how you need to sort of release that. So if we don't manage our emotions, then our body is always going to tighten up, and it's going to hold stress, and it's going to lead to genuine physical pain. And then you'll find that your joints feel tight, you're able to move less, and you often end up with a physical pain and you don't know where that stemmed from. And it's just where we've allowed our emotions to build up, and it's triggered through our body, and then it's resulted in a physical pain. And often we can manage that or see that way before that needs to happen. So you could even observe that now. If you get anxious, you might notice your breath rate, like your breathing starts to increase, or you might get like physical signs like sweaty hands. And it's just, yoga truly brings your emotions to the forefront and helps you deal with that stress, helps you deal with the anxieties that you're going through, especially on these fertility journeys. And I definitely understand how stressful it can be, especially if you're trying on like every month, trying to go through a different process, knowing where you are, what's around the corner, noticing you've got stresses everywhere else, and then you have to deal with this. And it can build up. And I think anxiety is a real thing that can hold people back, and yoga just really helps you bring that to the front and alleviate it. And it alleviates it in many ways that we'll talk about. And there's now becoming quite a lot of research into it. So yoga is really good with helping us reduce them emotions or building up more positive emotions. And that helps with fertility, because the yoga will, particularly the fertility classes that I teach, it's all about building sort of heat within your pelvis to sort of stimulate that blood flow, circulation going. It helps with your reproductive organs. It helps you to balance out your hormones. Some of the poses we do is all about flushing out the toxins in your body and just helping stimulate the nice, positive, happy hormones, as we call them. And there's been quite a lot of studies that show this helps to just improve sperm count as well as its mobility, just because you're helping to build the blood flow to that area. So a lot of my classes, you'll find, depending again where we are in our cycle, is about building heat. So we'll have strong poses in the hips, just really about helping to soften them, strengthen them, as well as sort of encourage that nice, healthy area. And that in turn also really helps with the stress and anxiety, as well as physical inflammation. We'll find that a lot in a yin class. So our bodies, if we are stressed or anxious, will sit in that fight or flight response, and we're always on edge, always uptight, always just thinking about the next thing. And through yoga, we can just stimulate that parasympathetic nervous system, reducing the anxiety, helping to balance them hormones out. And that in turn, especially if you do a yin class in the evening, can help you improve your sleep. It will definitely reduce that physical pain, the inflammation, decreases the cortisol. And it's just a really nice way for you to get a rounded, like, sort of healthiness through your whole body. And that's always going to help you in terms of your fertility. And the research, I've just put a few little studies up. It's all very like current. So until recently, they haven't really looked at the impact of yoga on fertility, and they can't say for sure why or what, but they know that how it is helping. So it's obviously helping to build that heat. It's also helping to de-stress people, calm them, reduce anxiety. And I've just put a few of the studies up, but one of them was a study in 2015, and they looked at people undergoing fertility treatment, and those who attended yoga and a discussion group. By discussion group, it was just small little pods of people that joined a similar like-minded community, so that they could just share their feelings and realize they're not alone. And it helped them decrease their anxiety by 20%. And that's only over a short period of time. Now imagine you've been trying to get pregnant for a long time. If you'd started that way back, how that can really help your mindset, and how you can help understand how you're feeling and how you're not alone, and how important yoga can be for that. And then in 2018, there was a couple of researchers that put 87 different studies together who engaged in that assisted reproductive technologies and yoga. And they found that through the breathing, through using meditation practices and poses, helped them to ease stress, depression, and anxiety. And that helped to reduce their physical pain levels. And that seemed to have increased the likelihood of pregnancy. And again, it goes back to allowing them to reduce stress and anxiety. And I think what happens is you go through this process wherever you are in it, and there's no way you can simplify this, but you do get anxious, you do get overwhelmed, and it's all you can think about. And by reducing that stress, by taking your mind somewhere else, somewhere positive, focusing on your inner strength and power, and knowing your body is capable of doing things so powerful, that it actually helps to just facilitate that, calms you down. And there's quite a lot of research done by this Dr. Alice Domar, and she's found recently that women were 3 times more likely to achieve pregnancy after practicing yoga regularly for a 3-month period. And by regularly, it was only once a week for an hour, but it was over a course of 3 months. And then if through that you do fall pregnant, yoga is really good at helping to reduce sort of assisted vaginal delivery, and it helps improve fetal outcome. There's so much research on it. I've got quite a lot on my website that you can always go over to and have a look. So it's there, it's new, it's something that we're all working towards understanding better, but it's very clear that it's through the reduction of stress, anxiety, staying present, staying mindful and focused, as well as building the strength in your body. So I often get people coming to me, and I think this is really, really important to highlight, that you can start now. You can start, it's the best time is to start before you're pregnant, because as I said earlier, you can then continue your practice throughout your pregnancy. If you were pregnant, you wouldn't really practice for the first 11 to 12 weeks. But after that, then you can step back onto your mat. But if you start now, you're helping to obviously promote your fertility. You're working through your emotions to help your mind stay calm and focused. And you're just learning how your body can move and be strong and stretch. So if anyone is thinking about starting, you should think about it now. I'm at the end of the phone. You can text me, you can call me. If you're not sure where to start, or you're not ready to take that step, definitely just maybe look at sort of stepping onto your mat for maybe 5 minutes a day, just to find some reflection. And definitely starting 3 months before any sort of treatments. If you're looking at IVF, starting 3 months before is a definite. if you're trying to get through naturally with your fertility, starting earlier is always good as well, just because it gives your body time and it helps you to find the focus in your practice, and it helps you to, I think it's not a quick win. If you come to yoga for the first time, expect to be mindful, expect to find it easy. It doesn't really work like that. It's not realistic. And I think it's quite falsely advertised that you should just suddenly be able to clear your mind and meditate. It doesn't work like that. It's a process. Like anything else, you learn it and we go through the journey together, and you build up your confidence in your own practice. So definitely give yourself 3 months before you expect to see any results. If you do, it's not a guarantee, obviously, but definitely give yourself time. And I always recommend, I would recommend at least 20 minutes, but even if you do just get on your mat for 5 minutes and you start slowly and you just sit there and find yourself meditating, or you just fancy doing some little stretches that I could show you, like there's poses like cat-cow, child's pose, downward dog. Even one of the poses for my go-to for any class I teach is to lie on the floor with your legs elevated, and they can just be leaning against a wall, so it's not too like tense, it's just soft, and it really alleviates anxiety and stress. It helps build the blood flow to your uterus area, so it's a really nice general pose that you can do, and if that's all you do, that's something. Whereas a good 20 minutes is recommended, and if you feel like it, then doing an hour is a great, once a week, an hour I would say is enough. Although a lot of my clients do 2 to 3, just because it's better to maintain it than it is, like the minute you stop, you notice it, and it can be really, really difficult to rebuild that for yourself. And again, just knowing where to start for yourself. If you feel energetic, then maybe trying something slightly more energetic is good. If you feel like being gentle, or you might have a headache but you still want to practice, or you feel really tense and you don't want to practice, then just taking to your mat and doing a gentle 10-minute class, a restorative class, a yin class is beautiful. And as well, it can really depend on where you are in your cycle. So if you're ovulating, then it's a really good time to start doing them more energetic classes. Whereas if you're further along in your cycle, it's definitely not recommended to do certain activities, no inversions and things like that, but we'll get onto that. And I think as well, we definitely, when we're looking at fertility yoga, there's this big hype of hot yoga, rocket yoga, all them things that are great if you're trying to just be healthy. But it has been shown in studies that it's the more gentle approach to yoga that is what is promoting fertility. If you overdo it, if you're looking at really, really energetic, and by energetic, I mean that hot pod yoga, I mean a strong vinyasa class, like if you went to join a normal class that wasn't promoting your fertility, it could be too much for your body. You need to remember that depending where you are in your cycle and where you are maybe in your IVF treatment, will depend on how your body's feeling, and your body often needs the energy to do its own thing. So by doing a strong class can actually be more detrimental to your IVF process. So it's just bearing them things in mind, and that's quite often why people come to the one-to-one classes and we tailor it around all of that. So looking at that, there's a few poses to try. If you just want to do 1 or 2 poses, it's a great opportunity to do it. So a warrior 2 pose, so just going through the pictures from top left, it just really strengthens your hips. It's going to build heat in the pelvis like we were talking about earlier, and it releases any emotions or tension or stress there. It's a really good one. You'll find a lot of fertility classes will hold a lot of the warrior poses in them. And then the second picture is a cobra pose. This is a variation, it's an upward dog, but it's about redirecting the blood flow to the uterus and your ovaries, getting that hormone production going, to keeping it strong, building that heat, and you work with your breath through the poses. So any of these poses we talk through, you could work as a flow, or you can just hold them for easily 5 to 10 breaths. Some of the poses you might hold up to a minute. If you attended any of my yin classes, you'd find you can hold these for 3 to 5 minutes quite comfortably using your breath. The bridge pose, the bottom left, is a really nice pose to release tension. It's good to take any weight off the lower abdomen, strengthening your glutes, supports your hips health. It's just an all-round really good pose to be doing at any point of your journey, wherever you are for that. And then the goddess pose, again, is a brilliant one for your hips, reproductive areas, increasing that blood flow. As you can see, there's a general theme behind yoga and fertility. And it's just so important for you to build that within yourself and feel yourself strengthening and notice how you feel for yourself. And I would say a lot of the time there will be poses we shouldn't be doing. So if you are at certain stages in your cycle, you might feel bloated, you might feel a bit tender around the abdomen. So you're not going to want to do too much strong core work. So you're not going to want to maybe hold onto a plank pose for too long. We're going to try and avoid twisting too much. And we'll probably try and avoid them inversions like headstand, which is beautiful in a practice if you attend a regular class. I'm not going to discourage them, they're great. But if you are very conscious of fertility, very conscious of your IVF treatments and getting them to be more effective, they're definitely poses to be avoiding. So saying that, then I just try to break down really high level. So if you're doing yoga before you've had injections or ovarian stimulation, then you should be looking at more, it can be any variation. So by this, I mean, you can look to energetic vinyasa, again, excluding rocket, power, hot pod yoga, anything like that, but like a nice strong class that you feel a bit of energy, a bit of heat. You want to get the blood flow into your ovaries, get that hormone balance, so giving yourself the best chance. So a nice vinyasa class is perfect. But also a yin class. So it again goes back to your energy levels on this one and how you feel. With a yin class, you hold the poses for, in my classes, 3 to 5 minutes. In some classes, you can hold them up to 10 minutes. It's just about allowing your body to naturally open, giving yourself that time to observe your body as well. So that's a really nice way to do that. During yoga, during your injections or stimulation after embryo transfer, again, as I said, you might be quite tender. So it's a good time to increase the intensity of your practice to ensure it gets the right nourishment and energy. But you want to be thinking about your body needs its own energy to recover. So as much as you might like to keep the intensity high, remember, depending on what day it is and where you are in that sort of cycle, a couple of days after, I keep it a little bit gentle, avoiding them twists, definitely avoiding headstands, handstands, sort of getting your hips above your heart the other way is a no-no at this stage. And then if you're looking at embryo transfer, it's just about reducing your anxiety. It's about sitting, doing breathing techniques, maybe meditation if you feel you can do meditation, especially on the morning of your transfer, just because you will feel nervous. I've had a lot of clients come to me the day before just asking for what breathing techniques they can use, what they should be doing. And I just say to them, just chill out for a few days, just try and stay present, remembering what you can control, can't control, remembering to sort of stay self-motivated, confident in yourself, and just a little bit of meditation. And I always think meditation's really easy for me to sit and say meditate. I know for some people it doesn't come naturally, and again, that's got a stigma attached to it. And a few of my clients, I've built up their meditation practice with them, because it's not about clearing your mind and having nothing in your head. That's impossible. It's about just refocusing and knowing what you need to be the best benefit for you for the next few days. So if anyone feels that they've tried meditation and hate it, but really want to give it a go, please do just contact me and we can work through it together, because it's not something you should avoid, but I've definitely been there. Anyone who meditates has been there thinking they can't do it. And then, so just to say that we've got videos on the website. I've got quite a few for fertility. I've got stuff for people who have had babies, who are pregnant. I've got Fertility Tree yoga for men, for women, for couples. And for the rest of March, you can get 25% off, but they're free on there. So if you're still not sure on yoga, just go on there, have a look, see if you enjoy it. See if you're already doing it, see if it's something that would work for you. And I think it's a slow process. And as a yoga teacher, with my experience, I definitely say if you've done yoga before and not enjoyed it, it's probably not that you've not enjoyed yoga, it's that you've probably not connected with the teacher. And as a yoga teacher myself, I do not take offense to it, because some people gel with other people and others don't. So if that is you in that boat, I would definitely say don't give up on your yoga journey, because somewhere out there it will work for you, and it is proving to be beneficial. It will help reduce your stress, reduce your anxiety. It will help you to learn breathing techniques, physical strength, and it's just working with yourself, working with your headspace to find what's best for you. So that's all on that. I know it was a whirlwind tour, but I'm ready to take questions if anyone has anything they'd like to ask, anything like that.
All right, Amy, thank you so much indeed for that fantastic presentation. And well, I definitely feel encouraged right now. So if I feel that, I'm sure that there are some of you that feel the same way, and perhaps will be able to, or will simply would like to try out the yoga just like that. So hopefully you will be able to. And just so you know, we are able to start our Q&A session right now. There are like, well, there is a comment, first of all. So I definitely want you to see this, Amy. This popped out when you were starting with the breathing. So this is what Bob added. Thank you. I feel calm and focused now. Yeah, thank you so much for that comment. It's good that it worked for you, and I believe that Amy has a video on your YouTube channel, right? As well, with such a video.
Yeah.
You can try this again, and maybe just go ahead with some other yoga poses as well. All right, and let me have a look. We do have a very first question. So yeah, that's really interesting. So do you need any extra certificate training to become a fertility yoga teacher?
So you don't specifically need any extra training, but it is out there, and I always highly recommend it, because there's things that we don't know about. And if you haven't been through certain fertility journey yourself, you can't always relate. And I think you need to learn what poses you should be doing, what poses you shouldn't be doing. So although it's not necessary, I would highly recommend it, definitely, just to understand male and female bodies in terms of their fertility journey. You learn about the reproductive system far more detailed than you ever would in a normal yoga training course. So yes.
Definitely. Okay, that's good to know, of course. Thank you so much. And if I just may ask, you mentioned that actually you also have classes for couples. Yes, is that correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing, because yeah, that would be, I mean, so it's like one-on-one with the couple, or you have also classes like mixed classes, I would say. Let's say.
So both. I have a lot of one-to-one classes that are couples, but I always recommend couples come together into my group classes. So they're mixed. I've always got guys in there, and sometimes they're not couples, it's just guys that are trying to help with their own fertility. Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. That's definitely amazing to know. Okay, let's have a look. Bubble has added one more question. So I feel like I'm holding a lot of tension in my belly. What poses can you recommend to loosen up that area?
So if you're holding tension in your belly, I would definitely recommend doing some breathing exercises just to loosen up around the abdomen. It might just be quite tight if that's where you're holding your stress. I wouldn't recommend it. It depends on your gender as to whether or not we're going to encourage you to do some twists. If you're female, definitely not, depending where we are. But if you're a man, you can definitely work on a few twists. So we could do some, they're called like leg extensions. So you'd lengthen the back of the leg out, the arm forward, and then you could gently crunch them together. And that's just going to loosen around your abdomen area and sort of relieve that tension. But as a general whole, I would say work with your breath work. So taking deep belly breaths. So a lot of the time we just breathe up into our rib cage. So if you notice you're breathing now, it's probably quite shallow. So if you take deeper breaths and fill up into your belly, that really helps relieve any tension you're holding around the belly. and noticing maybe it could be around your back as well.
All right. Again, thank you so much for yet another question, and of course for your advice. Okay, let's have a look. Yes, we do have a comment here as well from Bubble. Okay, we'll do so. Thanks a lot. All right, thank you so much. And someone is typing, I believe, but let's give it a minute, okay? Again, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and type those in right now, of course. And if not, remember that you can get in touch with Amy, and I'm sure she'll be more than happy to help you out as well. You can check her YouTube channel. I've seen those videos, so it is free of charge. So you can just simply, as Amy mentioned, have a look at it and see if it's something for you. I feel like I should try it and see it, because it's definitely something I've never tried before. And definitely, I mean, anyone nowadays, when it comes to our nowadays life, when it comes to stress, anyone should be able to use that, should be able to you know, make it a little bit, make it a bit better for ourselves as well. So let's wait a bit and see. Someone is typing, so we just need to wait. But in the meantime, Amy, perhaps you can tell me, how did it all start with you? I mean, when it comes to being a fertility teacher yoga as well.
So I started teaching yoga about 8 years ago. I've only recently sort of taken it forward for myself in the fertility area because of personal experiences, and I found it's really helped clear my mind. And I just think I noticed that with yoga, it has sort of just taken off in the last couple of years, but it wasn't that out there. And for a lot of people, having that connection to their body and their mind was something that we all struggle with. Like day to day, I was working too hard, not giving myself time, running myself down, being too hard on myself, and wondering why I wasn't getting results I needed, maybe in my personal life, also in terms of my fertility. And then it's something just triggered for me that actually you need to take care of your whole body. And that's not just the physical aspect of it. That's not just about building muscle, toning, being slim. It's about connecting your mind to your body and your breath. And then definitely sort of just refocusing how you feel and reconnecting to like your reproductive system and knowing what that means. It's being very, very mindful. And for me, that was it just took off. It just made me realize why don't we all do this? And then I just felt it necessary to share that with as many people as I could. So I did my teacher training, then I did some fertility training, and I'm constantly learning and teaching and developing and trying to share it with as many people as I can. So having this platform is really nice, and I hope to get it to men as well as women, because a lot of my clients are female, and then they'll bring their partner along, because men don't seem to notice the same issue in the same way sometimes. So I hope I can reach more men with it as well.
That's amazing for sure. Yes, and I totally agree that it's great that you also have those mixed sessions. You know, I wouldn't think about it to be honest. When it comes to men, that's, as you said, it's just a little bit harder sometimes. So definitely, it's good to know that they are trying as well, you know, they are part of it as well. And I love that you are spreading this, because you also mentioned there is also some research for nowadays that yoga actually does help, and there is an evidence. Yeah, so it's even it's out there. I think that some of the clinics, I think you've mentioned this, some of the clinics are actually doctors even are like saying that you should try it. Yeah, so they are recommending try yoga.
I get a lot of my clients, because their consultant has said to them, you should try yoga, and so it's come through them channels, and that's really good to see, because it shouldn't be one or the other. I think a combination of the two is vital, and it's really good to see that it's sort of becoming that. Yeah,
that's wonderful. Thank you so much then, of course, as well. And let's have a look. Okay, there are two more questions shown right here. So the first one is, so how long after the embryo transfer would you suggest having a break from a physical yoga practice?
I would definitely recommend at least 3 days or more if you feel a bit more tender than that. focus more on sort of managing your emotions, maybe with some meditations and breathing in that time. Definitely 3 days, and listen to your body more if you need, if you're still feeling a bit sort of sensitive. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for yet another question, Bubble. And of course, let's have a look. Another question is, are there any poses to avoid in the 2-week wait?
Yeah, so definitely in the 2-week wait, you're going to want to be a lot more gentle with your body, a lot more sort of nurturing. Because you can obviously feel quite hypersensitive and anxious. So just being super gentle with yourself, connecting your head and your body together. So gentle practices of yoga, avoiding any deep stretching that sort of, if you find yourself in a warrior 2 pose like we looked at earlier, you can do that as long as you then don't sort of force yourself into a pose that's painful. I would definitely avoid any of the twists. So if you're in, say, a high lunge and you try and incorporate a twist to that, I would definitely avoid that at all costs. Again, headstands, handstands, anything that involves putting your hips higher than your heart. What other sort of poses are there? I would avoid any, so it is just any twist. So that would be whatever a twist that's like in a yoga class for you. There's loads of them. So generally twists, any poses with a twist, and any inversions to avoid, and just be gentle. I would definitely say child's pose is a good one. And even a gentle downward dog can be quite nice if the pose is to do.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for yet another advice on that. And one more question is right here. So I miscarried a few months ago, and I'm grieving for it a lot. Now I'm trying to start a new treatment, and I'm definitely struggling with it. Could yoga and meditation help me in this really difficult situation? We are really sorry to hear that.
Yeah, sorry, that's really sad news. But definitely, and I think you need to be kind to yourself, take time to listen to yourself. Yoga will definitely help you to ease off them, the emotions. You don't want to maybe necessarily let go of them, but you want to learn to be able to control them and use them in a way that's going to benefit you. And yoga can just really help you to, every time you get on your mat for that 1 hour, half an hour, whatever it looks like for you, it will just take your mind off of everything. It just helps you to refocus and remind yourself how strong you are, the journey you've been through, and how you can use that to build yourself up and strengthen yourself and keep going. And meditation, if you can meditate or start to meditate and refocus yourself, it will do absolute wonders, because it just puts you on a whole nother field within yourself, and it allows you to have that mind-body connection, stay present and mindful, because I think we all forget to do that, especially when you've been through something like this and you are going to grieve a lot. It's about just giving yourself time, and not just giving yourself time to overcome this feeling or work with this feeling. It's about giving yourself time physically. Your body's been through a lot, your mind's been through a lot, and it's just about bringing them back together in harmony, rather than potentially fighting against each other, building more stress and more anxiety, causing your body to tense up, therefore affecting your whole reproductive system. So yes, by doing yoga and meditation will just help you to balance your whole mindset and body. And I hope that helps.
Thank you so much. And definitely we are keeping fingers crossed for you. And yes, as Amy mentioned, we definitely hope that that it's going to help you as well. Okay. And Amy, I always want you to see, of course, there are thank yous from Tasha as well, right here.
Thank you.
Okay, next question we have. What time of day is best to do a fertility yoga session?
Okay, so in terms of time of day, well, there is various answers. So it would depend on how you're feeling. And with yoga, in my opinion, yoga should be done when you feel like doing it. So don't force yourself to do yoga. It should never become a chore. It should just be something you enjoy stepping onto your mat and practicing. But it is the mornings are a very good time to do your fertility yoga, just because it helps you to build that energy level that you might need. It obviously promotes the blood flow, the circulation throughout your body. And as well, it can just really sort of set your mind focused for the rest of the day. Although it's not bad to do it in the evening if that's what works around your diary, works around your schedule. And some people prefer that. So I find it's quite a subjective question in a sense. It's all about you. Yoga is about you, what works for you. But I would say the morning if you were going to pin me down to one.
All right. Again, thank you so much indeed for that advice. Okay. All right. Someone again is typing, so we need to wait for another question. Yeah, and we will be slowly finishing. So just go ahead and type those in. And now let's give it a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. Yes. Okay. Perfect. There is a comment from Bubble right here. Great. Thank you so much for an amazing webinar. I love the graphics on your slides. Okay. Super. Thank you so much indeed, of course, for that comment. And well, we will be slowly finishing. So Amy, thank you so much for bringing this topic. Definitely feel that we should have more of those webinars on that, simply because anything that can help and is quite, I think, easy to do, because all we need to do is just get up and then just start, So
the hardest part.
Exactly. So it's the hardest part. But on the other hand, if you are at home in the morning and you can just play a video and start and just try at least 5 minutes, right? You said 5 minutes.
Definitely.
Is exactly, that's my point. So I hope that it has been helpful to all of you. I actually do believe that you might feel that you might find it very, very useful. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight, for your questions indeed. And Amy, is there anything else you would like to add before I let you go?
No, just thank you all so much for your time, and good luck, all of you, on your fertility journey. And I hope to maybe speak to some of you at some point of it. So thank you all. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much indeed. It's been a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much once more. And well, I just want to mention that, as you know, we will be back here tonight at 8 p.m. UK time, so very, very soon. And there is another topic that we will discuss. This time it will be standard fertility assessment with Dr. Emma Atswar from Vista Hermosa. So I just hope you will be able to join us. And I mean, there was one more thank you from Tasha, so I just want you to see this as well. And well, as you know, it has been recorded. You will have a chance to watch this, and it will be available on our website, myivfanswers.com. And if you follow us on our YouTube channel and Facebook or Instagram, you know that there are plenty more events coming up, but also this will be available on our YouTube channel. So I can only encourage you to go check it out. There are past webinars out right there as well. And if you go to Amy's YouTube channels, you will be able to see some of her videos as well. And I do hope it's going to be very, very useful for you. Thank you indeed. Have a lovely evening. Amy, once again, thanks a lot. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.